Good afternoon, and welcome to Drive Growth Through the Power of Relationship Banking webinar. Financial institutions face rising costs, deposit outflows, and fierce competition, making strong account holder relationships vital for growth. This webinar explores how AI-driven engagement enhances operational efficiency, builds trust, and increases product adoption. Learn how banks are digitally personalizing banking experiences, gaining insights on relationship banking's effects on balances, lending, and engagement while reducing call center demands. We thank you for joining us today. I'm Lexi Garcia, Vice President of Business Development at Bank Director. This webinar is brought to you by Finex Tech and Agent IQ. Launched in 2014, Finex Tech is a specialized resource connecting U.S. financial institution leaders with technology partners at the forefront of innovation. Finex Tech makes it easier for financial institutions and technology companies to work together through its exclusive in-person events, editorial content, and online Finex Tech Connect platform. Agent IQ provides AI-powered engagement solutions that drive growth, strengthen personal banking relationships, and improve operational efficiency while enabling digital experiences that align with each institution's unique operating model. Now, before we begin today, there are a few things to keep in mind. We encourage you to stay engaged throughout the webinar. If you have any questions for the speakers, please click the Q&A button on the right side of your screen anytime during the presentation. Our speakers will address your questions. This presentation will be shared with all attendees within 24 hours via email. This presentation will also be available on finextech.com. If you experience any technical difficulties, please use the Q&A button to let our team know, and someone will assist you. Finally, the opinions expressed in this webinar are those of the individual speaker only and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the other speakers or of the entities with which the speakers are associated. And on that note, I would love to share a little bit about our speakers today. We have Soren Bested, the Chief Operating Officer of San Francisco-based Agent IQ. Soren oversees the operational and administrative functions of Agent IQ while implementing enhanced business strategies that align with both the short and long-term goals of the company. Also with us today is Jackie Verkyle, Chief Operating Officer at BAC, where she joined in 2003. She has held several C-suite positions at BAC, which is a family-owned institution that's been providing comprehensive, tailored banking services since 1965. Jackie has been involved in the development of numerous innovations supporting BAC's customer-centric, relationship-oriented strategy. So with that, Soren, Jackie, please take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lexi. Thanks so much for the introductions. For all of you joining us, thanks so much for taking the time to meet with Jackie and myself. I really appreciate it. Jackie, thank you so much for taking your time. I know how busy you are, and having you on here is a great opportunity for many of our partners and prospects to learn about what you have been doing the last few years.
Well, thank you very much. Just a little bit about BAC. We are an $800 million institution, and as Lexi noted, we are family owned, which is a real benefit to us. We are based in Stockton, California. We currently have 8 branches. BAC is primarily a commercial institution. Almost all of our lending is on a commercial basis, and our deposits are based on balances about 2/3 commercial, 1/3 retail. We do have about 75% of our deposit accounts are retail deposits, but on the dollar size, it's definitely commercial.
Excellent.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Jackie. So I think it's no secret the last 18 months have been difficult for banking. There's been lots of rising costs. There's been deposit outflow. There's been a lot of competition for fast money. How has that impacted BAC?
We have definitely been impacted. I don't know any banks that haven't been. But because of our strong relationships with our customers, our deposit mix, we run about 35 to 40% demand deposits, non-interest bearing accounts. And historically, that has been a huge benefit to us and has really helped us compete with the significant increases in interest rates and customers really starting to pay attention to that. We have had a lot of pressure for rising interest rates, probably like everybody else. But the fact that we do have a significant non-interest bearing portfolio has really helped us through that. And the way that we got the non-interest bearing portfolio is really through the relationships. Um, our owner is very well known in the community, and our customers and prospects have access to our executive team. So we are really able to work with customers to build products and tailor exactly what they need. So we've got that strong base. So in that way, we have been probably a little bit less impacted than maybe other banks have been.
So Jackie, it's a theme we're hearing from a number of partners that relationship has been key the last 18 months. If you didn't have a relationship, it is a rate hunt. But could you talk a little bit about how do you manage your relationship? So it is evident. I've had the luxury of meeting you in your office, in your branches before. But could you share a bit with the participants here? How do you manage these relationships? How do you build them? How do you sustain them?
Well, we have a strong relationship banking team. So each customer has their own personal relationship manager, and the relationship manager has a deposit specialist who helps the customers with any of their day-to-day needs, which allows the relationship manager to actually get deeper in the relationship, really focus on the higher level questions and concerns. And the deposit specialist is then able to work with the customer directly. So it's really that plus, the owner and the access to the executive team that has allowed us to build those deep relationships, and then we're able to service those with our teams very well. We have for a long time tried to be technology forward, not on the very cutting edge, but we were way back in the day, we were one of the first banks in the area to offer cash management services back when it was on a dial-up modem basis. And we have tried to stay, offering excellent products to our customers. And I know this is going to lead into the next step, but Agent IQ is one of those processes, products, tools that we've added that has really helped with that accessibility and giving our customers the ability to get a hold of their bank or their team anytime, day or night. The customer can reach out to us and we will respond to them during business hours, but they've always got somebody at their fingertips.
So tell us a little more about that. We will be getting into Smart Alec later. Again, it's one of my favorite names of the service here. But when we started working together about 3.5, 4 years ago, could you share a little bit about what was the challenges you saw ahead or the opportunities you saw ahead for BAC, and what was kind of the background? I'm sure it was not just our charming personality and funny accent that drove the partnership.
We had implemented ITMs so that our customers could have a video connection with our bankers without having to come into the branch. And we were finding that more and more customers were, not really wanting to come into the branch or wanting to be able to be serviced either over the phone or, somewhere outside the branch. And so we wanted to set up something that would allow our customers to reach out to the bank anytime, anywhere, from wherever they were without them having to come into the branch. And we looked at a variety of different solutions, and Agent IQ was the one that we selected. And I will say that the team at Agent IQ has been very easy to work with, and we actually requested specific tools and abilities for our commercial customers that Agent IQ was able to build for us. So, for example, the tool is really designed to be used from your smartphone because that's where a lot of people are at. But we have some customers that their office manager is the one who connects with us, and they are at their desktop. They're not supposed to be using their phones during the day. So Agent IQ was able to build a desktop version for us, and that was super helpful. It's the type of service that you just do not get from so many of our service providers. So that was a definite benefit to going with a smaller, more nimble company.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, we, as you know, we very much enjoy our ability to meet frequently and learn about how can we make the platform better. But when we started out, you mentioned, so we're looking at, you want to be able to serve customers anytime and anywhere. I mean, that's a bold statement, and one that can probably strike fear into the heart of many relationship bankers. Does that mean I have to be available 24/7? Do I pick up the phone at 3 a.m.? Can you talk a little bit about that, and maybe talk us through what is Smart Alec?
Okay, so Smart Alec is our front-facing side to the Agent IQ tool. We went through a process. We actually had a contest in the bank to come up with a name for our little persona, and Smart Alec was the winning name. Our bank tagline is "Banking Always Connected," and Alec stands for All Access Connection. So, and we decided he was smart. So he's Smart Alec, but customers can access Smart Alec, and actually non-customers can as well. There's 3 different ways that you can access. One is through our, you can just do a chat through our website, and that's known as an anonymous chat. So you don't have to register. You can just go onto our website, look at the link and click on it and have a chat conversation with the banker. We have bankers available from 8 to 6 to answer those questions, address it. And then we have our authenticated customers. So those are customers who download the app and create their username and password, and they log in. So there's a level of authentication with those customers. And then they also once you are authenticated, then you select your own personal banker. So you've got a banker that works with you one-on-one. That is your person. They are available. If they're on vacation, then another bank can step in and handle your questions. But you've got that one-on-one relationship with your own personal banker. And then if you are one of our VIP customers that is assigned a relationship management team, your banker is your relationship manager and your deposit specialist. So you've got that team. You can reach out again at 3 a.m. if that's when you're worried about banking. You can reach out, and then during business hours, depending on the type of question, your team will get back to you, first thing in the morning. So as a customer, you have that flexibility to anytime, anywhere, reach out to the bank, continue to have your relationship with your same banker that you do on a day-to-day basis. You've got your support team is all on board. If you have a question and we need to bring someone in on the treasury management side, we can add a person to the conversation. The conversations are there for you to go and look back at, so you can see them all the time. So it is a very, very useful tool for the communicating and developing or continuing that relationship. It also offers the ability to self-serve. So everyone is offered a self-service menu when they log in. Depending on which channel you come in at, the self-service options are a little bit different. If you're an anonymous customer, you're presented a menu, and you can go through that, answer your own questions, and the tool will provide you, with answers up to a certain point, at which place it says, do you want to talk to a banker? So at that point, you can talk to a live banker. For the authenticated and VIP customers, the self-service menu is a little bit smaller because those customers do have their personal banker. But simple things like, what's your ABA number? How do I report fraud? Those are all available immediately from logging in, or just select, I want to talk to my banker.
So Jackie, it sounds like when looking at the slide here, it looks like where I have the option of selecting my personal banker. So the person that I get my own personal bank, and it sounds like once I have selected, in this case, Karina will remain my banker throughout. So very similar to if I walk into the branch and I have the habit of in a branch, I always wait for the person I always talk to. I will let people go in front of me in line because if Karina knows me, she knows my family, etc., etc. Is that do I understand that correctly?
Yes, that is correct. And that is how our bankers are trained. They come from primarily from the branch world. So Karina is a great example. She used to work in the branch. So customers that knew her in the branch now can select her as their banker, and they know her. They already know her. They already have a relationship with her. They can select her and continue their conversation and their relationship with her. Or if they're new to Smart Alec, then they can look through the different bankers that are available and select one. I think I Love Donuts is the most favorite comment from our bankers, but there's a little bit of personal information about them. So you can select someone that really matches up with your personality and when you pick your banker.
So have you found that this ability to I know when I moved to the US many years ago, I've always felt that in interacting with a bank, big quotation marks, is a little bit intimidating because you think of people that are far more skilled than you are, and it's a little bit scary. Do you find that having a personal bank or building these relationships change the conversation?
I
Or
think some
change
of
the way
our,
your customers
yeah,
interact?
I think some of our customers, well, I know some of our customers are like, Desiree is my banker. I love Desiree. I always talk to her, and they really do enjoy having that single person that they can talk to. Hopefully, nobody's too intimidating, but
Mhm.
it's really great from the customer experience to be able to have that single person that is their banker.
And let me understand also, is this this looks like it's somewhat like a two-way channel. This mean I can reach out to Karina to ask her questions. Is the opposite true as well? Can
Yes. So bankers can reach out to customers. We are working on a program for getting birthdays into Smart Alec, so we can reach out to our customers and wish them happy birthday. We do some contests, and so if you have a conversation, you're automatically entered in the contest. And if you are the winner, we reach out to you through Smart Alec. If you are using the app version, you get a notification that you have a notification from your banker, so you can go in and take a look at it.
I love that you
We
have.
can.
I love the branding smart, Alec, Jackie. I just think that's fantastic. But clearly, there's no, there's. But I think the thought and the effort that went into creating an identity for a service is quite unique. the simple answer would have been we have a chat. But it sounds like you have thought about this very, very differently than just being a chat. So can you share a little bit with us about the thinking behind that? Again, I know you shared the problem you're seeking to solve, but it seems very deliberate. It also seems like you are having a good amount of fun with what you're creating. I'll share a couple of examples after this.
We definitely set out to have a little bit of fun with it, and that is the employee contest that we had. We really wanted to get all of our employees engaged and having a good time. So get lots of buy-in to the whole Smart Aleck concept. But we did. We have seen other chats that are out there, and if it's just Bank Direct, that seems kind of boring. I think another chat had a really clever name, and we were like, we've got to do better than that. So we needed to come up with a really clever name. We actually worked with a company on the branding, and they came up with some ideas for us, but we ended up with Smart Aleck which was internally generated. That ended up being our favorite. I think our bankers know our bank better than anybody else does. So it was definitely a deliberate process to come up with a personality and a persona around our chat feature, because it is so much more than just chat, right? You have the chat ability, but there's much more than just chatting. We haven't really touched on it here, but we can do screen sharing. We can send and receive secure documents. The slide that's up now says that we can translate. Our Smart Aleck app can speak many different languages with our customers, and make it easy for our bankers to see what customers are trying to say if they're using Spanish or Danish or whatever language that they choose to use. We can co-browse, so we can actually use Smart Aleck to share a screen with a customer and walk them through an application or a question that they're having. The features are very robust on what we can do with the Smart Aleck app. We can send documents. We've got information. If a customer asks about rates, we can send them a rate sheet. And we've got all that already built in. So it's just a click away for our bankers. The bankers can set up their quick responses. So if for every customer, they say, "Good morning, how can I help you?" That's just a click away, so they don't have to type it. So makes it really easy for our bankers to use. And then on the back end, we've got really robust reporting that tells us what our customers are asking about, so we can update the information that we're feeding to our customers on a frequent basis, so that we make sure that if customers are asking about interest rates, we've got an interest rate feature right when they log in. If customers are asking about debit cards, which is a big one for us, we've got a debit card button right there, right up front. If customers are experiencing check fraud, then we can feature check fraud and solutions or resources for customers to use. So that is super helpful to allow us to really customize or continuously update what it is that our customers are asking about based on what they're looking for. At this time of the year, we've got a button about income taxes. So if customers have questions about any tax documents, we can provide that right up front.
So it's interesting. Yeah, it sounds like this is a very unique combination of being able to answer customers' questions when they come in. It also sounds like, I'm again referring a little bit back to our title here, which is driving growth. But it sounds like the whole Smart Aleck program was put together to both create a much better customer experience, essentially replicating everything you have been doing so well in the branches in the past, beyond the branches, but also making it easier for customers to explore and potentially adopt new products and services. Are you seeing that?
100%. We have product offerings available primarily on our website, but if customers are interested in doing something new and different, if they're interested in opening a new account, makes it super easy. We've got that deeper relationship already in progress with the customer, and so Smart Alec allows us another channel to have that relationship and to deepen the relationship. So if a customer is interested in really anything, if they want to change their signers, if they want to add a new product, it just makes it super easy for the customer to do that, which keeps the customer from leaving, really. The more relationship you have, it's a sticky product as well. So once your customer is used to having that immediate access to their banker, they're not going to want to change banks. So it helps us close the back door. It helps us engage with our existing customers, and it's a really great feature to offer to our prospects. That not only do they have access to be able to talk to our owner if they want to, but they're going to be able to get their banker anytime that they're thinking about banking.
I do think it's interesting because it sounds a little bit like, going back to my example of having Karina as my banker, it sounds a little bit like it becomes potentially a better alternative to Googling the answer.
Definitely. Because the key questions that the customers have are already presented. The answers, when you log in or when you hit the chat button, the answers to the most common questions are already right there. So you don't even have to Google it.
That's great. And are there any products or services that you have seen being requested more, or is it? You mentioned tax documents, of course, but also I'm thinking about new products and services. Is there anything that seems to be more interesting, or does it follow the economic cycle?
I think it really follows the economic cycle. But for us, regardless of the channel of how it's coming in, debit card questions is always our number one, whether it's through the call center or through the branch or through Smart Alec. Debit cards are our number one question. So we have that information right up front for customers to look at.
It's interesting.
We
You
have
mentioned
a
something.
couple of
Oh, sorry.
we have a couple of programs that we are in process of piloting, where we are actually require customers to come to Smart Alec to get information about a new product. So we've got a referral program for a specific line of business. And if you want to refer someone into that line of business, then you are going to use Smart Alec to do it. We've got the back end built out so that if one of our bankers gets a question about that, they know exactly what to do and how to address it to both the referrer and the referee, using Smart Alec to get all their questions answered. So I'm expecting that to be very successful.
That is great. It's great to hear that this is so. It combines kind of a good customer experience, a good banker experience, efficiency, but also driving business, growing business, not just not just answering questions, but actually driving growth of the organization.
I'm always interested in listening to new ideas and new ways to drive growth. And we are always trying to build that in the bank and make it easier for our customers and to attract more customers. And we find that this is a really good way to do it. And the customer feedback from customers that use Smart Alec is very, very positive. So it's working well for us.
That is great to hear. And what kind of feedback do you get? Is it this is a typical service? The ability that I can get to talk to not just BAC, but I can get to talk to my banker is atypical. So how have your customers responded? What are people saying?
Well, as I mentioned before, we have one customer that just says, I love Desiree. She's my banker. I can go to her for anything. It is efficient. I love the impact that I can have by just having one person. Um, so that is one customer. We've got a business customer that he puts all of his business requests through Smart Alec and just uses that exclusively. His team is able to get back to him immediately because it's during business hours. They respond immediately and can resolve his questions. If it is something that needs like a higher level approval, or if it's related to a loan, then we're able to get that answered and say, hey, Tony, it's going to be a couple minutes. Let me get back to you. He knows what to expect, and then we can get him the answer that he needs. And that is one of our very strong relationships. Um, I could go on. We've got many examples of customers.
Yeah.
One said, when I saw this, I really didn't think I was going to use it. Wow, I love it.
That's interesting. It's actually interesting. I've had personally a similar experience where, like, well, I don't think I need anything, but then there's all these
Mm-hmm.
latent unmet needs. I don't need it enough that I'm going to drive to a branch and ask about it, but it would be really nice if I could. And I do think this idea of making really easy for me to ask the question. It takes effort off my plate to pursue something I haven't addressed yet.
Right.
So you did before also. We spoke a little bit about you spoke about self-service, and I think there's no doubt efficiency is important. And you shared before that you provide self-service to customers, but if I understood you correctly, one of the key elements is it needs to be self-service that doesn't come between you and the customer, but it kind of augments the experience. So if it's a simple question, I can get to Corina, but I don't have to.
Correct. Absolutely. So if it is a question like, what's my routing number? Um, it's right there. It's right there for you. Uh, it gives you one more place to look. You don't have to go hunt around on the website for it. It is right there and available for you to answer your own question. But if it's a more complicated question, or if you are looking for to open a new account, then you can talk to your banker. I mean, we have some customers that are just like, can you tell me what my balance is? And we can answer that question for them really easily. And we like having them rely on their banker to answer their questions. So we don't have to say, oh, go use online banking for that. We're here to help. We're here to be your banker. Yes, you can do it using online banking, but you don't have to. So you can do it that
I
way.
did find the statistic that's shared here. I find that really interesting. So I believe this is taken from your public-facing website. And well, firstly, I love the fact that I'm being introduced to Alec, the smart, your virtual chatbot. I think it's a very smart way, and I think that's something that's definitely, as we explore AI, chatbots, virtual assistants, and so forth. I think it's important to communicate to your customers who are they talking to. Don't mislead your customers. Tell them that they're trying to talk to it, that they're talking to a human if they're not.
Right. Definitely. And so we've got our little Smart Alec persona, and he pops up when you're talking with him. And then when your live banker pops in, you see their picture so you know who you're talking to. And it just makes the experience for the customer so they know when they're helping themselves, and they know when their banker's helping them out. As far as other efficiencies, we have seen a significant drop in volume at our call center since we've implemented Smart Alec. So I think that we're relatively effective in driving questions to Smart Alec instead of having people pick up the phone. And again, it's on their time frame. they can just grab their phone. They don't have to wait for lunch break or, when they're away from the office in order to talk with the customer or to talk with their banker.
So I know this is a bit hypothetical, but you're saying you've seen so more than 60% self-service, reduction in call center volume. Well, if you didn't have Smart Alec, both on the unauthenticated website and as the authenticated service, what do you think your customers would do instead?
They would call. They would call, or they would come into the branch, or they would not be happy, or they wouldn't have their questions answered. We do try and have a really robust website, so there's a lot of information there, and customers can self-service there as well. But having their personal banker that is there immediately to back them up to ask questions is huge. And previously, our call center, like I said, our call center volume has dropped, but our volume of phone calls into the branches has dropped as well. And that allows our branch bankers more time to be facing customers that do come into the bank. And it allows us to run pretty lean on our branch network. So I would say we have definitely had a reduction in headcount. So we're saving there without having a reduction in customer service or without causing issues for our customers.
That's fantastic. That's really I'm very interested in this idea of offloading. I don't like to use the term low value, but more mundane tasks, offloading that and allowing your bankers to have both the time and the space to have more, more complex conversations where they are essentially allowed to spend a little more time to understand what the customer is looking for and asking the question behind the question. It's rare that people show up and say, "I need money." Well, why do you need money? What's going on? Get a little bit behind. We all need money, but there's always a reason, and maybe get a little bit deeper behind that.
And with having your own personal banker, it allows the customers to build that relationship. And these are both on the commercial side and the consumer side. But with the commercial side, you don't see your banker unless you have a question or a problem, or we're doing a scheduled visit. And we would do those annually. But with them having the ability to contact their banker from wherever they are, they get to have those conversations with their banker on a more frequent basis. And it is easier for both the customers and the bankers to maintain and enhance that relationship. So they're really able to deepen the relationship without having to do more work, and it's more efficient. And that's really what people are looking for. Everybody's busier now than they used to be, it seems like. And so this gives them the ability to interact with their banker, like we said, late at night, early in the morning, or during business hours when they can get a question answered, almost immediately without having to drive into a branch or pick up the phone.
That's really interesting, Jackie. It's a big undertaking, and it sounds like this has been very, very successful, and I congratulate you on that because while we at NIQ we take pride in what we build. Ultimately, what we build is a tool, and it's the combination of the right platform and the right people. But I mean, I'm sure this cannot have been smooth sailing all the while. So, can you talk to us about what has some of the challenges been in terms of operations, buy-in, technical challenges? How long did it take to go live? Can you share a little more with us about your journey and what are the things? If you could advise Jackie 4 years ago, what would you tell her to look out for?
That's a little bit of a trick question, Soren, because everything has gone really smoothly. as a community bank, we are used to working with a core system provider, which is a big company, which is not nimble, which is sometimes extremely frustrating to work with, and you really don't get the answers that you're looking for. So when we're working with a small company that is nimble, our implementation was like 4 weeks. I mean, it was very quick. And then we have been continuous improvement since that implementation time. So we get feedback from our customers or from what they're looking for. We're able to make adjustments on a real-time basis quickly, immediately. It's really amazing compared to the experience that we have with other technology vendors. So that is really fantastic. And it really has kind of been the catalyst for us to change our technology strategy at the bank, because we were probably 10, 12 years ago, we were looking at, let's consolidate our technology into one company and do as much as we can with our core provider. And since then, we've struggled through that a little bit, but with companies like Agent IQ that are nimble, that are very responsive, that provide a best-in-class service, we are now looking at getting that best-in-class service across all of our customer-facing platforms, so that our customers get the very best experience possible. And we rely on our core to do core technology, debits, credits, accounts, but the ancillary services, we are working with best-in-class partners and really moving in that direction.
I'm really
And I think that provides a better experience for our customer, which helps, again, deepen the relationship, keep our customers with us, and entice new customers to join our organization.
I'm interested in that because that certainly we feel that in the last, again, 12 to 18 months was in some organizations a push to let's go to a single vendor to make it easy. It sounds like you're really taking a different approach, saying what we need to do is we need to do best in class. Good enough is not good enough.
That is 100% correct. And we were on that path. We've been on that path for a while, that we want to work with a single vendor. Everything's integrated. It should be easy. But we're finding that when we have a single vendor, they also have us a little bit over a barrel, and that they're it for us. And if they don't respond, then, oh, well, we're just out of luck. But working with a more nimble vendor, a vendor that is more focused on providing great customer service to us, we are able to provide that better customer service to our customers.
I did want to ask about something. So it feels like moving to it is a very personal relationship. I have my customers can reach out to me. Operationally, was that a big shift for the organization, or how did you manage? Was it a transition? Because it sounds like it could be, but what was the actual operational? Were there any operational challenges in that journey?
So we trained our call center staff to use Agent IQ. So you used to be taking phone calls. Now you're taking messages over, a message feature instead of on the phone. And those people, as I mentioned before, had come from the branches. So they know how to do a lot of branch transactions. And so for that, really training them to use the system was easy. It's intuitive. It makes sense. It's not all that different than having a chat conversation with your friends. So it was really easy for our team to adapt to using Agent IQ. and having our Smart Alec persona made it easy for our team. We elected to use our existing call center team. We didn't, I think we staffed up by one person to kind of ease the transition. But we really didn't have to change operationally. We didn't have to make changes in the branches. We had talked about, maybe having a banker in each branch so that customers could select a banker that they already knew. We decided to just go with the call center. We have just recently opened it up so that our branch managers can view the chats that their customers are having so that they have visibility. And if the customer then calls or comes in the branch, then they're aware of the conversations that they've been having through Smart Alec. So that seems to be working really well. The expectation is not that the branch managers are going to engage with the customer, but it's just so that they're aware. But if they do see a question out there, there's nothing that says they can't hop in and say, "Hey, it's Joe, your branch manager, and I saw your question, and here's the answer." Or you can come in and talk to me about it if you want. If it's somebody that normally comes into the branch, and we have integrated Smart Alec into our onboarding process for our customers. So the best in class, best service is we have customers download the Smart Alec app right as they're opening their account. We've got their disclosures set up there so we can refer the customer. Once we see that they've downloaded the app, we can say, here's your disclosures. So we don't have to, print out a tree's worth of documents to hand to them that they carry out and put it in a file somewhere. So they've got that. They've got it with them all the time. So we have made operational improvements as we've grown with Smart Alec. But as far as the implementation and the ease of conversion, it's been easy. It's been really easy.
That's fantastic, Jackie. Thanks so much for sharing this. Are there any other things we haven't covered? I'm mindful that Lexi may have some questions for us as well from participants, but I wanted to, without me prodding at you with questions, I want to see if there's any kind of opening things, any thoughts I have not covered that you think are important for participants to understand or to learn from.
I would just say that I think what Smart Alec gives our customers is a personal experience with the bank. What it gives the bank is a simple AI assist. The customers don't really see the AI; they see the self-service, but nothing's telling them that that's it. That's AI driven. It gives the bankers and managers the ability to really see what our customers are looking for to continue to improve and tailor the offering to what our customers want to see. And we've got all kinds of tracking tools on the back end so we can see who's the best banker, who has the most conversations, who gets picked most often, who has the best response time, and all that you would expect. But there is definitely an AI component, but it's not like in your face AI. It's subtle.
Alexi.
All right. Hello. So we have had a few questions submitted, and just a reminder to anyone, you can continue to do so by clicking on the Q&A button. So we had an attendee who had some questions just about best case hybrid interactions. So Jackie or Soren, from your experience, I don't know if there are any other practical examples of marrying the live and technology aspect that has worked well.
I think our example of putting the disclosures in the app is a good one because that is something that we would otherwise do in person as someone's opening their account, but instead it's on the app, so it's there available for them anytime. It makes it easier for the customers. And then with our relationship managers, they have those live in-person conversations, but then Smart Alec allows them to go, back to their office. Oh, I forgot to ask this question. They can just throw it in Smart Alec in the chat. They will get an answer from either their RM or their deposit specialist, right away, get their feedback. So they can have that really hybrid experience where you have your conversation. You talk about your banking issues with your relationship manager, but anything that needs to be handled, um, updates, other questions, the deposit specialist can handle that for them.
Perfect. I think that's some really, really good examples. Soren?
No, I do think it's interesting what you're touching on, Jack. Is this idea of we have a lot of different channels, and historically we have been very channel centric. We have the call center customers, the branch customer, the digitally active customers. And it feels like this is the glue that ties it all together. That it's there's certain things I can do myself. There's certain things I want to do in a branch, and it seems like a little bit like a hybrid approach where I can do what I want to do myself, but it's tying my experience together into a single comprehensive experience.
Correct. And the history of the conversation within Smart Alex stays there. So if the banker or if the customer want to go back and look and say, what did they tell me about that loan? They can go back and see it in their conversation thread. It's right there.
Perfect. So another question someone submitted is, there's a struggle to balance efficiency with personalization, especially when you have both retail and commercial accounts. And Jackie, I know you said BAC leans more towards the commercial deposits, but how have you managed that at BAC? And what role has technology played in that balance?
Well, I think this, until we had this tool, it was either come into the branch, pick up the phone, or those were your options. Those were your channels. Go look it up on the website. So now we've got this additional tool that we can have those conversations. We can be more direct with the customer. They can help themselves through self-service, but it really ties everything all together, and allows the customers to deepen their relationship, I guess.
I do think it's interesting the idea, Jackie, and the way you have implemented Smart Alec, that self-service, AI-powered self-service is there to augment. I do think that there's certainly, especially with generative AI and the progress we have made in generative AI, there is a school of thought that says, well, with the right AI, we can answer all human questions. And I spent years in mobile banking as well, so I have more bank accounts than anybody should have. But I see some large organizations that are putting out chatbots that cannot escalate to a human. And I struggle to understand that. You spend 5, 10, 15 minutes with a chatbot and you're kind of dead ended. If you finally express enough frustration, you get told to call a call center. And I think the opposite approach, Jackie, where you have taken where you make it very easy to talk to your bank, where you make it very easy to escalate to a human. I think there's a tremendous amount of benefit because you're now telling me I can get my answer, and if I can't, you are still looking after me. And that seems to be a fork in the road in terms of how do we think about customer service.
And I totally agree with that, Soren. It is definitely better for our customers to have the human interaction available quickly and easily. I know I've been frustrated on chats, and it just can't answer my question. It doesn't understand what I'm looking for. And AI is getting smarter, but it's still not personalized. So really having that personal experience, knowing that you're speaking with a human being, I think is really important.
All right, now for the last question that we have, so they're saying Smart Alex seems like it's really become part of brand identity for BAC. How important was the consistency and the persistence in that communication to build those relationships deeper?
I would say yes. Smart Alec is part of our brand. Definitely, especially with our consumer customers, because that's where, you know, we have smaller balances for consumers, but we have more accounts, more customers. So, and those customers have more questions probably on a day to day basis. So we're really able to build that identity that they can get a hold of us. They can reach anybody. They can use Smart Alec as part of their banking experience. It's part of their BAC experience, and I think it's one of the reasons why customers like to stay at BAC. Um, so it definitely helps deepen that relationship on the consumer side, where otherwise we wouldn't really have something. So it's that personal touch on the consumer side. On the business side, it really allows you to talk with your whole team all at once, which is a huge benefit for the customer.
That's great. Well, Jackie, I appreciate you sharing your experiences. Soren, do you have anything to add before we close out here?
I do not. I think Jackie said it better than anyone. But again, I'll echo Jackie. Thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. And I appreciate you sharing kind of the very, very thoughtful and deliberate approach BAC took with Smart Alec, and congratulate you on the success you have had with Smart Alec.
Oh, thank you. It's a great product. And like I said, we really appreciate the flexibility, the nimbleness, and the responsiveness of a partner like Agent IQ.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. As a reminder to our audience, you will receive the recorded version of this webinar within 24 hours. And this webinar will be posted on finextech.com. Again, thank you so much to Soren and Jackie and Agent IQ for co hosting today's webinar. Thank you all for joining us and have a great rest of your day.